Winning Edge Investments. I hope you were winning last weekend thanks to them. Winning Edge Investments. Treat betting like a business. Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858. And Dean Evans, on behalf of our SEN track listeners, thanks for In the Congo, getting the money last
In the Congo.
in the San Domenico. Well done to you, mate.
Yeah, nice little result to kick things off, and I think we were around $12 or so when we spoke about it last week. So hopefully your listeners got a bit of a padding to start to spring off in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. Got into around $7, by the way. It won. Interesting, Dean, we've been talking this morning in our Track Talk segment with Simon Denopoulos and Brad Gray around the Everest and who deserves a slot. Well, the Concord Stakes this weekend is the race, isn't it? Nature Strip comes back, and are there going to be any other horses that are going to be pressing the favourite for the Everest?
Yeah, well, I think there's probably three horses in this race that are potential Everest types. You've got Nature Strip, who's definitely going to run and likely going to run as favourite. You've got Trekking, who looks at the moment like the Godolphin Seed, who's run it a couple of times and run well. And then you've got Wild Ruler, who's auditioning for the race. And I think that's what makes the race interesting, is it'll definitely be trying to go out there and see if it can get itself a slot as well.
Had a recent trial, Wild Ruler there at Hawkesbury. I think was Trekking in that same trial?
Yeah, it was. And they ran really quick time. They ran 9 lengths above par there. None of them were under too much pressure, but Wild Ruler sort of just set off the speed a bit and ran past Trekking and beat it by about half a length in good time. I think that was a pretty good performance. Wild Ruler has a very good fresh up record. It's won both the Fireball and the Heritage first up, and won 3 from 4, plus the English Nursery on debut. So fresh up is its go. It always trials well, but that trial and time was probably as well as it's gone. And I think there's just an opportunity there with Wild Ruler in this race. When you sort of look at the profile and Nature Strip. As we know, Waller's sort of changed the training with this horse, and he really targets the big events, and that's where he sort of won the TJ Smith a couple of times. But Nature Smith's sort of record over 1,000 metres at Randwick, in his last 4 runs, he's won once and been beaten 3 times, and all of those times is sort of short odds-on favourites. So the fact is that when it comes to Nature Strip, although he certainly deserves to be right on top of Everest calculations at this stage. It's an interesting little race because his first up record is a mixed bag, and that presents opportunities for something to potentially run him down on the day.
Well, Wild Ruler's never been out of the money first up. 4 first up runs for 3 wins and a second. So that tells us that, his overall record is pretty encouraging as well. But he does like to get out there and complete the job. He's right now at about $5 in the Concord.
Yeah, and I think that's a nice price. I just think there's just no way that you can take $1.50 about Nature Strip. And Nature Strip trialled really well. He sort of ran 3 lengths above par overall. They were 7.6 lengths above par for the last sectional. He sort of ran the quickest last 600 to 200 metre sectional in particular. So the horse is going well, and he did win the Lightning first up last prep. But I just get the impression with him, it's always interesting, these 1,000 metre races. The map could just be a little bit messy. You've got Adelong, who likes to push forward. Star Boy's coming up a long break, but it tends to sort of go handlebars down. Wild Ruler is usually best when it sits outside the leader and sort of just pounces in the straight. There's a bit of speed there, and then you've got Nature Strip, who clearly is not going to be wanting to be bustled early on. So I just wonder what's going to happen there, right? He obviously likes to dominate and lead, and the times that he's sort of been beaten in races like the Concord previously, where he has run in the last 2 years and been beaten both times. Both times he sort of was restrained, didn't get to dominate. It all got a bit messy, and he was able to be beaten. And it just, again, we've got exact similar type of profile today, on Saturday, where, he's $1.50 and it could get a bit messy. And you've got, I think, 2 opportunities. You've got Wild Ruler, who could just sort of sit outside the leader, Stride Pass with his excellent fresh record and win at $5, or you've even got a horse like Trekking who, although he's not really a 1,000-metre type, and has bigger fish to fry down the line. If you have all of these horses, Adelong, Starboy, Wild Ruler, and Nature Strip going a bit silly, then he's clearly the one who's going to be swooping home over the top of them.
Lots of intrigue in the Concord. I love the Furious Stakes makeup. Larkspur Run and Love Me Tender are the early scratchings. 4 moves ahead, they've already stated that they'll go back from that draw. How do you see this year's Furious and the mix-up of the fillies?
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting race. I think when you look at the profile of the race, firstly, the thing that really stands out here is that the last 6 Silver Shadow winners, the race from 2 weeks ago, have gone into the Furious Stakes, and 4 of them have won. Another's run second, and the other ran a very close third. So the winner of the Silver Shadow has a very, very good record in this race. And Swift Witness is currently $7. She sat 3 wide, no cover in the Silver Shadow, and was very strong on the line to win. And she's drawn 5 here with Tim Clark. Just maps beautifully. Given that record of the Silver Shadow winners, Swift Witness looks a really great bet in this race.
And just gets the right run. I know Adrian Bott, talking with Adrian on and off air, he just saying the sharpness is there with Swift Witness.
That's right. The horse is flying. She was given 2 really strong trials to tune up. As you say, she maps beautifully. You've got, as you mentioned before, 4 moves ahead who's drawn the outside gate. It'll get back. You've got horses like Jamea and She's All Class who's coming off a setback. They get a long way back. Najmati settled last start. So, Swift Witness is the one that's just going to be right there on the bunny. And historically, that's where you want to be in this race. Most of the runners sort of settling, most of the previous winners settling on the speed. So she just sort of gets things perfectly her way in this race.
$7, as you say, right now at Bet365. I'm keen for Deanne Andretti just to be running well. Ron Quinton joined us yesterday morning. He wasn't confident of getting a start, but she's made it now and comes up with barrier 2. Every race of the day on Saturday in those stakes races, plenty of intrigue. You can get all the information by going to winningedgeinvestments.com. winningedgeinvestments.com. Tips and ratings from professional punters throughout the Spring Racing Carnival. Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858. But check it out, winningedgeinvestments.com. Good on you, Dean. Thanks for joining us. We'll do it again next Thursday.
Thanks, Andrew. Sounds